A plane crash shakes a San Diego neighborhood to its core. Today, the aftermath and the cleanup as people reflect on a moment they'll never forget.
You can smell the jet fuel. You can hear screams. You can hear, people yelling to get away, evacuate.
I'm just gathering everyone up, but we couldn't get out because the gate goes right into the front yard. There was a dead pilot in my front yard.
From stories of survival,
We gotta go, the fire's spreading,
to stories of heroics, this close-knit military community in Murphy Canyon rises from the fire, burned but not broken.
Amid the tragedy, 6 people on board. The FAA fears all were killed. What we've learned about the impact they had on San Diego's music scene, helping people chase their dreams.
If you're in the music industry, you kind of know who Dave is. He gave so many bands so many career opportunities.
This morning, we're live from the scene with extensive team coverage.
ABC 10 News starts now.
ABC 10 News at 5 starts now, featuring Melissa Masiha and Jared Aarons.
Good morning. It's the Friday, May 23rd. It's now been just over 24 hours since a plane crashed into one of the largest military housing units in the world. It left a trail of destruction like a scene from a movie. We have team coverage this morning in Murphy Canyon as the community wakes up to the aftermath and the long road back to normal. ABC 10 News reporter Jane Kim will look into the impact the victims had on San Diego. But we begin with my co-anchor Melissa Masiha in the neighborhood where people seem to show so much heart on Thursday. Melissa?
Yeah, absolutely, Jared. And this is a military community, a military so important here in San Diego, and they really came together yesterday. We are here on Sample Street where 24 hours later, it's eerily quiet, but you can see the damage, of course, right here behind me. This home, the most affected by this, several homes affected, several vehicles. Even if I was driving here, you could see bits and pieces of the debris as I came closer to this neighborhood. Like you see here, numerous cars destroyed. Video you're looking at right now shows the fire here after that jet crashed. San Diego fire officials said the plane took out car after car, jet fuel everywhere. And this morning, you can still smell that here earlier this morning, 24 hours later. Well, sadly, people on board the plane were killed. Everyone on the ground survived. After the crash, neighbors here, they all started to help each other. We spoke to Ronald Jones, woke up to the sound of the crash. He was running up and down the street, banging on doors, trying to get people to safely. And back out here live, again, it is very quiet out here. The roads leading to this neighborhood, they are still blocked. The only people out here up and awake are the other news crews early this morning at 5:03. At least 8 people on the ground. They were hurt. They are all expected to be okay, but San Diego Police Chief Scott Wall yesterday said roughly 100 people were displaced because of this. We are also learning more about the landing conditions. ABC 10 News obtained the Montgomery Airport weather report that the pilot of the Cessna 550 received. I want you to take a listen.
Montgomery Gibbs Executive Airport. Automated weather observation 1030 Zulu. Wind missing. Visibility missing. Sky condition missing.
Commercial pilot Robert Katz tells Team 10, simply put, there were no weather and sky conditions available. The chilling audio has the pilot's response to the conditions.
All right, that doesn't sound great, but we'll give it a go.
The National Transportation Safety Board believes the private jet had a black box, but by Thursday afternoon at last check, it had not yet been found. And this morning, we are beginning to hear from some of the friends of the victims. Again, they were very big in the music industry. I'm joined now by my colleague, ABC 10 News reporter Jane Kim. And Jane, this really affects so many people here throughout Southern California.
Definitely, Mel. One of the victims of Thursday's plane crash is a big name in the music industry, Dave Shapiro, who is the co-founder of Sound Talents Group. And the AP also confirmed 2 of his employees were also on board. The federal Federal Aviation Administration says Shapiro is listed as the owner of the plane and has a pilot's license. He also owned a flight school named Velocity Aviation and a record label, Velocity Records. That's according to his LinkedIn page. We spoke with Ryan Bruce, who worked with Shapiro as a music producer, saying his late friend was one of the kindest in the business. He told us Shapiro helped thousands of unknown artists get their career off the ground, including Canadian rock band Sum 41 and the band formed from the San Diego punk scene, Pierce the Veil.
He wanted everyone else to win first. He was that guy that you kind of, I think everyone wants to aspire to be in a room.
Now, the agency didn't name the other victims on board, but Mel Sound Talent Group also represents the group Devil Wears Prada, whose drummer was also believed to be on the plane. Daniel Williams posted photos to Instagram Wednesday showing him getting on a plane with the same tail number as the one that crashed. Mel?
Yeah, and we were seeing the outpouring of support for the victims on social media, and I'm sure today we'll continue to learn more about the people who tragically passed away in this. Jane, thank you so much. It is 5:05 right now. While the plane barreled down the street, pretty much taking out everything in its path. This is the house here. This is the one that took the direct hit, had the most damage. ABC 10 News reporter Adam Rakusin has a story of survival from the family inside that house.
A fireball illuminated the night sky, the sound accompanying it almost deafening.
Come on, let's go! Let's go!
In an instant, this quiet San Diego community was violently rocked awake.
I woke up to a loud explosion. My wife was screaming, and she's like, there's a fire.
That fire, a private jet that dropped from the sky, smashing into Ben and Shurjana McCarty's living room.
All I could see was fire, and the roof of the house was torn off.
You could see the night sky from our living room.
The couple immediately grabbed their kids and pets.
Each person just grabbed a dog and a child.
They scrambled for a way out of the house. The front blocked.
We went outside to go out the back door, but then unfortunately the side gate leads towards the front, and I could see the debris was on fire right there, so we can't even open it to get out.
Luckily, the other side was open. Neighbors raced over to help.
Hey, we gotta be careful. This thing's still explosive.
Clearing the way for a ladder and path to safety.
We got the kids over the fence, and then I jumped over the fence. They brought a ladder, and the dogs, we got them both there, and then he eventually got off onto the other side.
Out of harm's way, the family finally got a chance to reflect on what had happened. The place they've called home for the past 3 years, and everything in it, gone.
Us and the kids would sit in our front porch, and we'd look up, and my sons would always be excited, saying, plane, watching the planes go by, and like, ironically, right where we were sitting is where that plane hit.
Ben says items can be replaced. His family can't. As for whether they'd ever live there again,
absolutely
I don't think so.
I'm not going to live over that flight line again.
Not under a flight, yeah.
Here and Montgomery, absolutely not.
Adam Rakusin, ABC 10 News.
Yeah, I'm sure hugging their loved ones a little tighter this morning. Now, today, both Hancock and Miller Elementary schools will reopen for class. Both schools were closed Thursday because of what happened here. District counselors will be on site to support students, staff, and families who are still processing this traumatic event. And I'm sure that processing is going to take some time. San Diego Unified Police will also be on site to help with the traffic flow as certain streets in this neighborhood remain closed. And back out here live, again, as I was driving here, there are still a lot of road closures. We do have law enforcement blocking certain areas. So if you don't live around here, of course, you're going to want to stay out of this area. A tight-knit military community, and Jared, you know, I have family in the military, and I know how hard it is when a loved one is deployed. That's what a lot of the families had to deal with yesterday, maybe not only dealing with a loved one overseas or deployed to serve our country, but then having to process this. The processing of this, again, going to take a very long time. Reporting live, I'm Melissa Masiha. Jared, back to you.
And we see all of them come together in that way, the way the military helps each other, gives a strong sense of that community. That's going to help moving forward. Thank you, Mel. And one of the other things we've seen coming out of this tragedy is that idea of a community, both in the early hours as neighbors rushed to help each other to safety and throughout the day as people brought donations to help. Miller Elementary acted as a temporary evacuation site yesterday, and it was also overwhelmed by the amount of food and clothing and diapers and blankets and everything that people brought and dropped off. They say now, though, they're shifting donation needs.
We're going to accept financial donations on all of the websites. That's the sdmac.org, 0800.org, stepsocal.org, asymcasandiego.org, and feedingsandiego.org.
A lot of .orgs, and we have all that on our website, but SDUSD says people should not bring any more physical donations to the schools. If you want to help out, give money. We've put links on the Resource Center at 10news.com. Not just people getting help. The San Diego Humane Society is caring for displaced pets. They tell us they took in 22 animals yesterday, including 16 dogs. Some of those dogs had to get decontamination baths because their fur was covered in jet fuel. The Humane Society expects more pets and owners will need help in the coming days.
Your nomination.
And you just heard it there. Tim Walz' night officially accepting the Democratic Party's nomination to be its VP candidate. Next, we'll have a recap of day 3 at the DNC. Well, it is the final day of the 2024 Democratic National Convention as we inch closer to the presidential election. Only 74 days away. Today is the big day as Vice President Kamala Harris will take to the stage and accept the party's nomination. I want to give you a live look here inside. Of course, it will be a much different scene later on tonight. I'm sure a lot of excitement once again there. Day 3 at the DNC was filled with key players taking the stage. I want to show you several big names like Oprah Winfrey, Nancy Pelosi, Pete Buttigieg, Hakeem Jeffries, former President Bill Clinton there as well.
We need Kamala Harris, the president of joy.
We must continue to stand up, not as Democrats or Republicans, but as Americans. Are you ready to elect Kamala Harris and Tim Walz?
But for Democrats, the real star of the night, you just saw him, Vice Presidential nominee Tim Walz. Walz introduced himself to Americans and detailed his time as governor. He says Minnesota increased protections for transgender rights, legalized marijuana, also abortion rights. Walz, who is a hunter and gun owner, also installed new gun safety laws, saying his first responsibility is keeping kids safe. He embraced his roles as a military veteran, public school teacher, football coach, and, of course, dad.
It took Gwen and I years, but we had access to fertility treatments. And when our daughter was born, we named her Hope. Hope, Gus, and Gwen, you are my entire world, and I love you.
This was one of the most touching moments of the night. You see there Walz' son, Gus, 17 years old. He has a nonverbal learning disorder, but you see him there crying, full of emotion, while appearing to say, "That's my dad."
ABC 10 News.
Protests erupt in Los Angeles as the National Guard moves in. This morning, Governor Newsom's warning to the White House over the latest immigration crackdown.
I'm ABC 10 News reporter Adam Campos in Point Loma as the search continues for 6 people after a plane crashed here off the coast. What an aviation expert believes could be crucial to knowing with the investigation.
And the Jewish community pulls the plug on Pride, why they say they're out this year over safety concerns surrounding the festival's headliner. Good morning and thanks for joining us this Monday. I'm Jared Aarons. My co-anchor Melissa Messiha has the morning off. We begin this morning with President Trump calling on the Los Angeles police chief to request more National Guard troops, quote, right now, even after the president already deployed the Guard to L.A. without Governor Newsom's approval. Now the governor is fighting to get all those troops withdrawn. Protests turned violent over the weekend as people clashed with law enforcement over immigration raids downtown. At least 3 officers have been injured and more than 50 people arrested. Sunday, protesters shut down the 101 freeway, an entire side of the freeway as it heads south. All of this stems from a week of raids in L.A., where ICE agents detained more than 100 immigrants, taking them from their homes or where they work. Now, the president said he wants to target criminals, the worst of the worst. These protesters say that the people arrested last week don't fit that description. As the protests grow and the tensions rise, ABC's Perry Russum reports President Trump is now readying Marines for deployment. Now, Governor Gavin Newsom is also preparing to file a lawsuit today over the president's decision to call in the National Guard. And he's not the only high-profile politician upset with this move. L.A. Mayor Karen Bass calls their presence, quote, intentional chaos.
I had talked to representatives of the Trump administration earlier on to tell them that the Los Angeles Police Department could control things that were happening here and that there was no need to federalize troops.
And Trump's border czar, though, is now threatening to arrest Newsom and Bass for their opposition to the federal operation.
It's a felony to knowingly harbor and conceal an illegal alien. It's a felony to impede law enforcement from doing their job.
Do you think that the mayor of LA is doing that?
If she crossed that line, we'll ask the DOJ to prosecute. Do I think she's crossed the line? I don't think she's crossed the line yet.
In an on-air interview, Governor Newsom responded to those quotes, saying, quote, come after me, arrest me, just get it over with, tough guy. And during the protest yesterday, Congresswoman Maxine Waters tried to visit a detention center in Los Angeles, but was turned away. The entire interaction was caught on camera.
Ma'am, our lobby is secure right now to all visitors.
Excuse me, I need to get in.
Contact our public affairs office.
I need to get in.
Congressman Waters says she was trying to visit David Huerta, the president of the Service Employees International Union in California. Federal agents arrested Huerta, claiming he tried to interfere with their access to a work site. After Waters was denied entry, she criticized the presence of National Guard troops at demonstrations. She said it could further escalate the situation and lead to more violence.
They can be fast, dangerous, and at times deadly.
And now there are recommendations asking San Diego police to pump the brakes on certain chases.
We will recommend changes to the chief of police. He can take it or leave it.
Today, the chief of police will formally respond to the recommendations. ABC 10 News has been on the story for years, and we're following through this morning, taking a deeper dive into what the 9 recommendations are and how SDPD is responding.
Plus, a big story developing in Ramona where tributes are pouring in for a CAL FIRE captain murdered in her home. This morning, we have an update on the search for the killer.
And a scary wake-up in La Mesa. An apartment fire forces families to evacuate and displaces a woman and her dog. The investigation happening now to find out if this fire was intentionally started.
ABC 10 News starts now with breaking news.
Hello, and thank you so much for joining us on Midday. I'm Melissa Messiha. We do start with breaking news stretching from downtown San Diego to Little Italy. We're tracking 2 shooting scenes several blocks from each other. 2 people are dead. 1 officer is hospitalized. Now, the first shooting happened on West A and Union Streets. That one happened around 8:30 in the morning. And then an hour later, an officer was shot on Kettner Boulevard and Juniper Street in nearby Little Italy. We do have team coverage on both of these shootings. We have reporter Sierra Encina. She is live in Little Italy. Reporter Jane Kim in downtown. And Marie Coronel is in Hillcrest at UC San Diego Health. First, let's go ahead and start with my co-anchor Jared Ahrens, who is also live in Little Italy on this midday. Jared.
When it rains, it pours in San Diego.
Bracing for the storm. Today, the first of 2 atmospheric rivers hits San Diego County.
We're here to get you ready for whatever comes.
Here is our water vapor radar.
We have extensive team coverage this morning, watching the roads and radars to bring you the latest updates on air and online.
And we're following through with the city's work to get our neighborhoods prepared for the biggest storm we've seen this season.
ABC News' team coverage starts now.
ABC 10 News at 6. Start.
From sandbags to storm drains to splashdowns, we've got it all today. Thanks for joining us at 6 a.m. on ABC 10 News. I'm Jared Ahrens. The first major storm of the year is nearly here. We haven't seen rain like this since last March, and because we're going to see a big downpour over the next few days, our team is standing by with everything you need to know. We've got full team coverage. My co-anchor Melissa Messiha is live at the Bonita Sunnyside Fire Station with the pre-storm preps for families and businesses. Reporter Adam Campos is at Birch and Beta Street in Southcrest, following through with how the city of San Diego is clearing storm drains to prevent another flood. But let's go ahead and start with meteorologist Vanessa Paz, who's tracking this storm minute by minute. Vanessa, when are we going to see that deluge?
Hey, Jared. So at the top of the hour at 5 o'clock, it was mostly dry, and we're now starting to see rain come down across the county, saturating our most populated freeways. So just a heads up, if you're just waking up, maybe grabbing that cup of coffee, getting the kids ready for school, I would make sure that you are heading out early, because we are seeing a lot of shower activity already spanning from the coast all the way towards the foothill communities. Our pinpoint Doppler radar is doing a really nice job highlighting exactly where we're seeing rain. Most of it is in the northwest quadrant of the county, but it's only going to become widespread as we progress through the morning. Not only are we seeing rain, but we're also seeing some snow around those elevations that have around 5,000 feet. All right, keep in mind a flood watch will take place at 10 o'clock. It was set to take place at 1 p.m. Thursday, but National Weather Service extended it now starting Thursday morning. The heaviest rain, in case you're wondering, will be late Thursday into early Friday. That's not to say it won't be wet from start to finish today. The chance of rain does increase this afternoon between the 1-5 o'clock hour, right in the smack of that evening commute. It is still really dark and early, so unfortunately we can't really see much from our downtown Skycam, but we can see the snow falling in Mount Laguna. This is a Laguna Mountain Lodge Skycam, and you can see a light snowpack already developing on the rooftop. Current temperatures right now are in the 40s and 50s, so we are starting off on the mild side west of the mountain areas. We'll stay in the 50s again for the coast and inland valleys. We'll talk more about this atmospheric river, when peak activity is going to occur, and how much rain you can expect where you live. Jared.
Vanessa, thank you very much. Like you just heard, we've got that flood watch going into effect at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. That means today is the best time to get ready. So let's go out to Melissa Messiha live in the South Bay. That's one of dozens of spots where people can pick up sandbags. Those might be kind of important this week, Melissa.
Yeah, and there are a few sandbags here at the Bonita Sunnyside Fire Station. Not too many. If you do have some at home, I suggest you bring them with you. What's not lacking, though, the sand. So plenty of sand here at the fire station on Bonita Road. This is one of the places where you can come, pick up the sandbags, the sand. You want to do everything to protect your home. Also, make sure you check your car, the tire pressure, those windshield wipers. Thanks to my husband for changing all of our windshield wipers yesterday ahead of the storm. And also, as you get the kids prepared for school, like Vanessa mentioned, you know that school drop-off can be hectic already, so leave a few minutes early as we get ready for this rain. Now, as far as the sandbags and the sand, I want to take a look at your screen here. There are more than 30 fire stations and rec centers handing out these bags. This is just a list of a few of them. We do have a complete list on our website, 10news.com. You can go to that Resource Center tab. It's right on the top of the homepage. Make sure, though, to check ahead to make sure there are still bags left. They're also asking everyone, bring your own shovel, because they don't have shovels out here. We caught up with a few people here in Bonita getting ready for the storm to come. Yesterday, one man says he's doing what he can to keep his flood insurance.
I just pulled up, and my neighbors here just grabbed the shovel and started filling up and helping me out. So what a wonderful service this has turned out to be. It's a concern that if something major were to happen here, and we have a lot of claims here, that they're just going to cancel everybody in the area.
Yeah, I know dealing with insurance can be really tough. The city of San Diego also preparing for the storm by clearing out the trash, the leaves, and other debris from storm drains. Let's go right now to ABC 10 News reporter Adam Campos. He went out with a crew yesterday to see the progress that the city of San Diego made since last year's historic flood. Adam.
Hey, good morning, Mel. I am here off of Birch and Beta Street in the Southcrest neighborhood. And as we know, this was the hardest hit area in the January floods last year. And as you mentioned, I came out with a group of city workers that were working to prepare this area for this incoming storm. And a part of that prep is making sure that the stormwater drains are cleared out from any debris. And this group here is a part of the 300 city workers who are making sure this city is ready for the storm. And when inspecting the drains, they clear out any type of trash and vegetation inside, and crews are also going around the city sweeping the streets to make sure none of that debris gets into the drains afterwards. And their focus before these storms like this one this week is in areas like Southcrest. They hit it hard, but this type of cleaning happens year round, and to help support the city's short-term solutions like cleaning the drains, long-term solutions are in the works to help mitigate flood risk in the Choice Creek watershed.
That entire area is going to be redone. The drainage system is going to be redone. They're going to be wider storm drains. The pipes will be bigger, so we'll be able to have a lot bigger capacity for when it does rain and there is heavy rain, that water will be able to flow through and go to the channels and get out of the neighborhoods and out into the ocean.
Oh, actually, that's a drain. The sewers would be...
And these upgrades are a part of a more than $700 million loan the city secured a few years ago. $235 million of that loan will be for the Choice Creek watershed, and these projects, they're in the design phase right now. The city is going to hold a community meeting in the next month to get the community's feedback. And as we mentioned, there's been a lot of work done over the year since the January floods to try to prevent flooding risk. You see here behind me, this is a temporary levee that was added in just after the floods. It's just to make sure that there's more capacity in the channels to try to lower that flood risk. And coming up in the next half hour, I spoke to a leader of a nonprofit that works with residents to connect with the city about solutions, and you're going to hear what she has to say about how residents are feeling about the solutions the city's coming up with. So for now, live in Southcrest, Adam Campos, ABC 10 News.
Yeah, Adam, memories of that January flood still fresh in people's minds. Because of the intensity of this upcoming storm, we could see flooding of the rivers and the creeks and also standing water in those flood-prone areas. Not exactly the news the communities hit by last year's flooding wants to hear. To my right, you are seeing video from the floods from January 22nd, 2024. Now, for over a year, we have continued to return to those impacted areas. We've also spoken with numerous city and county officials about what happened. Last month, ABC 10 News anchor Wale Aliyu, he sat down with Mayor Todd Gloria and questioned him about the communities most impacted.
Is it a coincidence that the portion of our city that had poor infrastructure just happens to be a Black and brown community?
There's no question there's been disparity in infrastructure, but some of that disparity isn't just about who lives in those communities, but it's also the age of the infrastructure. But probably the best example I can give you for how that plays out is streetlights. You notice in the communities we're talking about right now, those neighborhoods are very dark. We need more San Diegans calling on elected officials to fund infrastructure in order to address not just the need, but also the historic inequities.
So what I hear you say, it's complicated, but I also hear you say it's not a coincidence.
It's not a coincidence when you consider the age of these communities. I think particularly for the neighborhoods in the Choice Creek watershed, I mean, the fact of the matter is that, you know, when many of those neighborhoods were settled a very, very long time ago, those are the only communities where people like you and I were allowed to live.
If you do see any of that flooding, you are asked to call the city's emergency dispatch center. The number on your screen at 619-527-7500. Now, there are some people that unfortunately live out in these conditions. Right now, there are more than 300 people living along the San Diego riverbed. That's according to the San Diego River Park Foundation. Yesterday, we went out to see for ourselves, and we came across several encampments. This one is just the one in the Mission Valley area. The San Diego River Park Foundation tells ABC 10 News they deploy an assessment field team to warn those living along the river about the dangers of staying there. Aside from giving verbal warnings, there Bureau also posting signs ahead of the rain. And the city of San Diego is opening up their inclement weather shelters for anyone needing a dry place to stay. It's a per night basis. It's first come, first served. I want to show you the 3 locations opening. Living Water Church of the Nazarene, that's on Market Street. They're going to be accepting 28 people. Joan Kroc Center on Imperial Avenue, they'll be accepting up to 61 people. And they also have an additional 11 beds for families with kids and single women. The Paul Mirabel Center, also on Imperial Avenue, they will be accepting 62 people. Their check-in and check-out times do vary. SDG&E, they're encouraging people to be prepared just in case of any power outages during this upcoming storm. The utility says their crews, they're going to try and restore power as quickly and safely as possible. If you do see a downed power line, the company says, of course, stay away from it, call 911, also secure trash and recycling bins, any patio furniture. Have a kit ready with essential supplies, including a flashlight. So if you want to head out to get some sand and some sandbags, now's the time to do it. Don't wait until tomorrow. And you know what? Glenn, he just joined. One of my sandbags flew away, but Glenn is out here. You said that we beat you out here. You're here pretty early.
Yeah, I know. I was planning on being here before it even started sprinkling today, but delayed a little bit. But I'm glad I'm here and glad to see you guys.
Well, we're glad to see you. You know, we keep talking about last year's storm, of course, the flooding. How did your home fare during that storm?
My home fared pretty good. The way my landscape is, it kind of runs off, so I wanted to avoid that so it doesn't go into the sidewalk or affect the neighbors. So this year I decided to prep. Not too early, right? But because the storm's almost here, and but it's early enough.
All right, Glenn, I'm going to let you get to it. Thank you so much for stopping to talk with us.
Yeah, great.
I know. Yeah, I'm glad you brought your own shovel. Glenn brought his shovel. Bring a shovel because they do not have shovels out here. And of course, we were out here yesterday as well. We saw several families getting ready, doing what they needed to do to protect water from getting into their homes.
It's a critical service. We really appreciate it. And we appreciate Channel 10 directing us here.
And Bonita for providing this.
And Bonita,
and the
yes.
county.
As folks are still getting the sand and the sandbags, we want to stay in the South Bay because another concern that this storm is bringing is for the heavy volumes of untreated sewage from Tijuana that's flowing into the Tijuana River Valley, impacting our beaches and all the people who live nearby. This is an ongoing problem that we have been covering for years now. One of the main reasons for this problem is because the South Bay International Wastewater Treatment Plant, it's just outdated. Local lawmakers have been advocating for more funding to be able to fix the plant, and some help is on the way. In December, before leaving the White House, the Biden-Harris administration signed a federal funding bill allocating $250 million to fully repair and expand the plant. Construction has already begun. I want to show you a map that's tracking the progress of the upgrades to the South Bay International Wastewater Treatment Plant. And as you can see there right now, the work is being done on Mexico's side. The areas in green indicate the project is complete. Those areas in yellow, still under construction. And what you're seeing in orange, those are funded. The red part means it's under planning and still being budgeted. So we want to bring you back out here live to the Bonita Sunnyside Fire Station. We do have a list of all the locations that you can get sandbags and sand. It's on 10news.com. Go to the Resource Center. So a few people have come out here early to already get prepared. There are still a few sandbags out here. We spoke to Glenn. He brought his shovel. If you do go to any of the locations, just keep in mind to bring that shovel because, well, Jared, you don't want to be getting the sand with your hands because that would just be way too messy.
I mean, it would take a lot longer also, Melissa. All right. Thank you very much. And, of course, we've got all those locations on 10news.com. That's Melissa.